Good afternoon, Cary Rotary Club.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the most friendliest club on the planet. Very excited to have everybody here today. A great program set up once again. And I'm reminded of the fact that we've got 3 more Tuesday meetings until our June 29th banquet. That's going to be electric. It's going to be magical. You guys have been to these before. They've always been great, but this one's going to be real special. So we're looking forward to that. And so the next 3 weeks, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to continue with the momentum that we've had. And when we turn into July 1, 2021, Mr. Bob Griffin will be taking over. And I very much look forward to that. Yep. Don't go anywhere, Bob. Okay. With that, could I ask Chris Walker to come up, lead us in prayer, pledge of allegiance, and the singing of God Bless America? Chris?
Thank you, President Scott. Today's prayer was given at the U.S. House of Representatives by the chaplain, Margaret Roan-Kibben, on June 1st, so I thought I would read it again. Let us pray. Bless us, O Lord, our country, and each one of us as we lift our prayers to you. Bless us and keep it us that you walk this day would be blameless in your sight. Guard us and guide us wherever we are called to serve today in our offices, our communities, or in our homes, that we be eager to respond to you with our whole being. With that, we seek to live upright lives and keep your laws. And when our steps go wayward and our thoughts overcome by selfish intent, do not forsake us, but call us back so that we would once again desire to live according to your righteousness you set before us. In the strength of your name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
And that I stand beside her and God through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you very much, Chris, for that. Awesome. It's my pleasure to introduce a visitor today that Kristen Sutton is hosting. Jennifer Murray is here. Jennifer is right over there next to Kristen. Thank you for being here. Welcome, and good to see you again. Enjoy the program. I also have the distinct honor of welcoming one special person that is categorized for today's meeting as a visiting Rotarian. You all may recognize him, I'm sure you do. Mr. Ken Thompson is here visiting. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See everybody. And now we'll move into club announcements, just a very few. And to start off, could I have Bob Griffin come up, please?
Thank you, President Scott. Before I share this comment, I have to share an observation that apparently one of the consequences of COVID is the lowering of Tim's voice by an octave and a half. I used to be right there with you, pal. Now you're way down. It's great to be back and singing again. Scott asked me just to share a little bit of news about the district conference that took place virtually on Saturday. We were well represented as a club. We had 7 folks participate. Jim Lovejoy, Mary Buchan, Neil Lagarde, Paul Wozniakowicz, Rod Brooks, and Tim Mannix all attended online. And so you all are responsible for keeping me honest, as I tell the tale here. But it was a great conference. It was the first opportunity I had ever had to participate in a district conference. And so I recognize it was a unique setting. It was great to be able to get it all done in 3 hours. At least the business meetings, the social, of course, we weren't able to capitalize on it. But there were a number of really great presentations, one of which was about an initiative through Rotary International called Hand Wash, which is Haiti's Water National Clean Hygiene Project. And so there was a presentation of, I think it's a couple $1 million in Rotary Foundation funds that dedicated to helping the people in Haiti create access to clean water and to do it in a very economically empowered way. And so if you have an opportunity to look at some of the tapes of the conference, I'd suggest you look at that presentation because it really fits in well with some of what we're, sorry, no pun intended, really fits in alignment with a lot of the economic empowerment philosophy that we're trying to focus on as a club. There's also a review of the day of service of the district. And we, as one club, made a strong contribution and district-wide really made an impact. What was quoted was 35 projects that generated impact in several communities, over 150 volunteers that day, 21 clubs participated, including ourselves, and financial contributions exceeding $12,000. So, that day of service has been a really strong impact, and we can expect that that's kind of a tradition that was likely to repeat itself. There was a number of references to the upcoming year that I won't bore you with too much, but serve to change lives is the theme for the Rotary year 2021-2022. And I just think that fits in so well with that day of service and everything that we do here. So there'll be more along that way. And then I also wanted to mention a number of us know Lee Hudson from the Clayton Club, who was recognized with a Distinguished Rotary Service Award, which is given to no more than 150 Rotarians worldwide each year. So if you know him, send him a note. He was very touched by the honor of the recognition, and it certainly does go to show that service does change lives. So that's it for me, President Scott.
Thank you, Bob. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of momentum. Next year's going to be fantastic. Could I ask Kristen Sutton to come up? Kristen?
So you all got to meet our new scholarship recipient already, but in the wings are 3 other college students that we check up on every year that receive our scholarship renewal every year. So I wanted to give you an update on the 3 of them and let you know what they're up to. So Natalie Bowers is our oldest scholarship recipient. So she received it in 2018, and she's at Mississippi State studying architecture. She has gone from designing mid-rise residential towers in Chicago to $1 million precast concrete parking garages and shopping centers. So she's doing what she wants to. She's really overachieving there in that area, which was not unexpected. She's also going into landscape architecture a little bit and incorporating that into her studies, and she's even taking some graduate courses in that area. She was selected for Tau Sigma Delta. Does that sound familiar to anyone outside of my hula hoop? But it's an honor society with the architectural majors, and only 10% of the students are eligible. So she was inducted, and she's also going to be the president in the fall of that group. She also received a Trussell Travel Award of $5,000 for her to travel around and look at architecture. She's already been to Chicago and has plans for other places. So she's definitely on the way up. So Geshna Agarwal is at Duke University. So she's our rising junior. And she's studying computer science. And her passion is really about getting females focused in the STEM area, if you'll remember from her. So she is part of the Percentage Project, which is a nonprofit organization that focuses on diversity and technology. And she serves on their marketing team. She is the outreach chair for Duke Women in Technology. And she's recruiting freshmen. So she's out there with high school students trying to get them interested in Duke and specifically
technology. She's also with FEMS, FEMMES Connect, where she's a mentor for young women in the STEM area. And she organizes professional and social events for pre-professionals, what they call it. And then she's a co-director of Hack Duke, which I think is pretty cool. So it's a school hackathon for women at Duke. And so they do all kinds of different events, but they organize speakers, workshops, and have publicity throughout the summer. So that's Geshna. And then Erin is our sophomore now. So she was our recipient last year, and she's at UNC Chapel Hill. International Studies is her focus. And she's our jump roper, if you'll remember. So she has continued jump roping, and she's the vice president of the Jump Rope Club for the fall. She's also a board member for Resident Hall Association's Social Justice and Advocacy Committee. So getting pretty involved there. And then she's the social media coordinator for the student body president campaign, and she's now an incoming cabinet member for the president who was successful. So her passion is really in that public relations and advertising, which I think she's going to branch off into the international studies as she goes through. So that's it. We picked some heroes, right? Some awesome shining stars. So thanks for listening.
Thank you, Kristen. What a great update. Doesn't that make you feel good? I mean, not only does Kristen, Bill, the Youth Service Committee pay so much attention to the quality of folks that get selected, but take a look at what happens after that. Paying attention to how things are going for them once they've been selected, and having a report out like this, to me, is fabulous. And it's just so great to hear, because this hopefully at some point will reflect on these young individuals in some way, and who knows, maybe they will become future Rotarians. So thank you very much, Kristen, for that update. Fantastic. Finishing up with announcements. Show of hands, how many have received their invitation to our induction transition banquet for June 29th? Okay. So who has not? Neil, you can raise your hand. I haven't got mine either. Oh, you did get it? All right, well, I'm starting to feel a little,
Well, check on it.
okay, yeah, Bob, did you check on that? I must be the only one that didn't get it.
You're going out. You gotta go leave it.
Ron didn't get one either. Check your email in the system.
All right, I'll check my email. Probably that. Anyway, the 29th, please mark it on your calendar. We're looking for an event that's going to be one for the ages, and it will be a special transition from this year to next year, and really will build off of what everybody's been able to contribute to this year. And it'll help Bob, the incoming crew on the board, and all our members with some superb momentum. And looking forward to the Rotary year 21-22. So I'm very excited for that. So please respond when you're able to come back to the vote, and I'll find out when mine is, hopefully at some point. So would like to let everybody know, some of you may already know this, but Steve Zaytoon, a member of ours, of this club, his father passed away on June 2nd. His father, his name was Joseph Zaytoon. And today they're having a service for his father, I think at 11 o'clock this morning. So those of you that are able to send Steve a note or give him a phone call and give him condolences if you desire to, that would be great. And a reminder for tomorrow, John Miller's service is tomorrow at 11 o'clock at Brown Inn. I think everybody should have the address. I understand there's 2 or 3 different addresses, so just make sure if you're going, go to the right one.
Millbrook Road.
Millbrook Road, thank you, in Raleigh. Yeah, thank you for that. So, and I'll just finish up with tonight at 6:30. It's an important time. Don Finkbein, our our Carolina Hurricanes will host the Tampa Bay Lightning. We got to win this game. So I ask for everybody for your collective support, your enthusiasm. Let's bring this team a victory tonight. We got to have it. If we don't, we got to wait till next year. This team's worked very hard this year. So asking for your support. And so with that, what's that? Miracle moments. That's exactly. Thank you. I can always count on you. I've got a new, If I could ask now, for any miracle moments, either in the room.
I'm assuming Darren
I
has
have
one.
one. I wanted to make sure you didn't forget today, but I just want to say my miracle moment is that this Friday is the last day of school.
Woo.
Our kids have gone through an incredible year, both being virtual, being at home, and then some coming back and some going back. The parents have gone through an incredible year because they've had to deal with all the adjustments, all the changes, all the schedules. And then lastly, the one that's nearest to my heart, that's my wife as a school teacher. What an incredible year, what an incredible journey. The things that go on behind the scenes, many of us don't have a clue. I just get a little glimpse behind the curtain because my wife talks about it. But my miracle moment is that they made it this year. So if you know a teacher, an administrator, a staff person, a student, or a parent of that student, please just know that we're thinking about them and how wonderful a year it was for them.
Great. Thank you. Well said. Thank you for that. Any other miracle moments? All right.
Scott,
Well, now we get into.
Scott, this is Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Mary's talking.
Hello, everyone. I had a miracle moment over Memorial Weekend. Sorry. We had family come in from DC, Atlanta, New York City, Graham, North Carolina, and Garner for a family celebration. We celebrated everybody's birthdays and anniversaries and everything that we had not been able to do over the past 15 months. And so that was our miracle moment. We had a great time and very happy that we're able to get back together.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, it must have been a special time. It's been a long time coming. I bet you had a super weekend, no doubt. And now we get to the most special part of today's program, and that's my distinct pleasure to introduce today's host, who will introduce our very special guest speaker for today. And so I'm going to ask Don Finkbeiner to come up and introduce our guest. Don?
Thank you, President Scott. It's a pleasure to be here, as it always is. Our speaker is going to be joining us virtually today, but I'd like to give you a little background. John Payne was born in Martinsville, Virginia, educated in the schools around Martinsville, took his family to the NC Zoo for the first time in 79 and 80, and was instantly hooked on the zoo. He has attended Patrick Henry Community College, transferred to Ferrum College, which is also in Virginia, completed a BS in Business Administration with a finance concentration in 1992. He accepted a part-time members sales and development position in April of '93 with the NC Zoo Society. He was offered a full-time opportunity at the zoo approximately a year later, and serves in a variety, has served since then in a variety of roles there, including his current position as donor relations officer. He lives in Jamestown, North Carolina, with his wife, Tricia, and his son, William. He's joining us virtually. We are delighted to have him with us in any form. We have literature on your tables that will explain some of the things that Jonat's going to talk to us about. But I'm very anxious to hear what he says about the future of the NC Zoo. Please join me in a warm Cary Rotary welcome for John Payne.
Good afternoon. Thanks, everybody. Glad to be with y'all. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but things are the way they are right now, and we are trying to limit exposure and keep everybody safe. The zoo itself was actually shut down because of COVID from last March until mid-June, I believe it was, of last year. So we missed quite a bit of our season last year. And when we reopened with strict time ticketing guidelines and limited attendance on a daily basis to about 2,000, 2,500 people a day. And those are times of the year, spring and fall especially, that we would average somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 people a day, especially Saturday, Sunday. And we would average probably 4,000 or better Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with a combination of family and school groups. And we didn't have much of that at all. We had no school groups, and we had very limited, I say almost cut by 50% or better in our family groups and so forth. So it has been a difficult year for us, but we have been very fortunate that our supporters have gotten behind us, and we sent out a special appeal to help us deal with the expenses of functioning in the time of COVID. And that has been really challenging. We had to be really careful because I don't know if you'd heard yet or not, but there were some zoos. We were fortunate enough not to have any animals end up with COVID, but there were some zoos around the country that had issues with their cats, especially tigers, I believe it was, that ended up with COVID and were lost to COVID. And we've also had some other issues around some of the primates that were touch and go there for a while. So it's been a challenging year for us, but we are making it through. And so that has been our last 12 to 15 months, but we are doing well, bouncing back. We have just gotten clearance this week. I believe it was, late last week, that we got clearance to increase our daily attendance to 4,000 people per day. And we no longer have to have timed entry and ticketing, but we do require advanced reservations for everybody coming. And we are hoping to get back to even more semblance of normal here before too long. But we have to act on the side of caution to protect not only our animals, but our staff, because we don't operate with a huge backlog or a huge additional staff in reserve. So that's been a real problem. But I did bring a video today to show you what's in the future for the zoo, and hopefully this will work. We'll see what we can do there, and then I'll answer any questions you have from there. Let's see. Whoops. Is the video coming through?
No, sir. I think you need to share your screen, hit the green.
I have to do the share screen button, share content. There we go.
And optimize for video as well. Check those boxes.
Screen. And then let's see. We're going to try this. I think I can do microphone off and it'll share the audio from the video.
John, you're still not sharing your screen, however.
Okay, there we go. Whoops.
There you go.
Okay. And are you getting that?
Cherished family tradition in our state.
Are you
It
getting
may
video?
even surprise you to know that the zoo is doing conservation and education work globally. Millions of visitors to the zoo have been inspired to make connections to the natural world. Our guests come from all over North Carolina and across the United States. With the expansion of virtual programs and Secrets of the Zoo North Carolina on Nat Geo Wild, our audience is continuing to grow, even internationally. With 2,600 acres, the North Carolina Zoo is the world's largest natural habitat zoo, and we have room to grow. The time has come to expand beyond North America and Africa by adding Asia, Australia, and the Amazon region. 50 years ago, this groundbreaking zoo was made possible by statewide leaders coming together to fulfill a dream. Today, we are bringing together visionary leaders from across North Carolina to raise $50 million for this next phase of the zoo's expansion. Together, we are poised to expand again with an ambitious master plan that begins with Asia, which will bring tigers, Komodo dragons, hornbills, gibbons, and a variety of birds, reptiles, and smaller mammals to the zoo. These beautiful and exciting animals in natural habitat settings will expand educational opportunities and experiences at the zoo, which will inspire greater attendance and bring more visitors to our great state. Through the zoo, we have the opportunity to educate kids from every county in North Carolina and to serve nearly 1 million visitors each year. By encouraging curiosity and a connection to nature, we can shape young minds to solve current and future problems. Our state zoo provides exceptional care for the animals at the zoo and is a leader in local and global conservation. Zoo staff work in more than 10 different countries on 3 continents to help save wildlife from extinction. Now we are ready to move forward with a promise to connect North Carolina to iconic animals and landscapes from 5 continents. Together, let's forge a trail to bring Asia, Australia, and the Amazon into our backyard. Asia is coming sooner than you think, with 10 acres of new experiences. Fly up to East Asia and discover good fortune at our crane habitat. Journey with us to Indonesia to see a real dragon. The Komodo dragon is the largest lizard in the world. Have lunch with the tigers. Then pass beneath those powerful paws at our tiger crossing. Next stop, down under. Australia is only a short walk away. Hop on over to the kangaroo walkthrough. And take to the canopy to visit with tree kangaroos. Australia is the place to play and learn. The Amazon region is not far behind. Whether a jaguar, African elephant, butterfly, or a crane, it is our responsibility as humans to be good stewards for all animals. As we enter this new decade, we invite you to join us as a partner in fulfilling the zoo's mission to bring people closer to nature. Your generous support in the first phase of our fundraising campaign will help bring Asia to North Carolina and inspire future generations to learn about our natural world. We are wilder, bigger, closer, sooner than you think.
Okay, there we go. So we made it through that. And let's see. Okay. I'm having issues with my video. Is anybody seeing me at this point or?
Yes, we can see you, John.
Oh, okay. Just didn't know. It was
Yeah.
taking a minute for it to come back from my side. So at this point, I'll open it up for questions or comments people may have.
Sure, John, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. That was an outstanding video. Let me just invite anyone to who's joining remotely here by Zoom. Please post any questions you may have in the chat, and I'll relay those to John. And then in a moment, I'll turn it over to Bob to ask questions from folks in the room. In the meantime, John, a lot going on at the zoo, and I wondered, so I have lots of questions, but I'm sure folks will have others, but I wondered if you could speak a little bit more about the partnership with Nat Geo, what that entails and how that came about.
That has been one of the best things I think that has happened to us in recent years. Nat Geo has started a series of 3 to 5, maybe 7 episodes with zoos around the country. And we were selected as one of their locations. And I mean, San Diego was also one of their locations, I believe, during that traveling period. And it has been phenomenal because it does get us a wide audience, a nationwide audience and a worldwide audience. And it gets people thinking about zoos. And for so much of the time, we are one of the, typically, depending on who's doing the survey, we're typically ranked in the top 10 zoos in the US. So we show up repeatedly in the top 10, and so few people know about us. But then again, it's kind of one of those that we're one of the best kept secrets in North Carolina, because there are people that come from states away or half a country away, or in some cases several countries away to see us. My goal is to get more exposure for us and get us out there and get people thinking about us more and realizing what's right here in our back door. I was fortunate enough to be able to take a trip to San Diego with my wife a few years ago and to see what they have. And yes, they have a lot, but I think we can, with this edition and these plans coming up, I think we will be right there in the same neighborhood as they are. We're just not as popular weather-wise as they are. They have a fortunate position of having 60+ degree weather about 300 days a year. And we have those cold portions of the year and those ridiculously hot portions of the year that we have to work through.
Yeah, certainly. I know there are questions about the expansion and what's coming, but I do have a question from Blair Hatcher, who asked, what is the most popular animal at the North Carolina Zoo right now?
Right now, I would probably say it's, depending on which side of the zoo you start on, it's either polar bears or elephants. Those are 2 of our most popular animals. The term in the zoo world is charismatic megavertebrates, which means things with a backbone and a personality. And both of those species are known for having a strong personality and a strong presence and a strong connection to people.
Yeah.
And there's so much that we can learn from both of them. And I get to share those little tidbits of, did you know this about polar bears? And they actually have black skin and their hair is hollow and clear. And that's what gives them a white appearance. But if you hold a single strand of polar bear hair up to the light, it's translucent. You can see through it.
Wow, fascinating. Interesting. Well, it was, thank you for that. And it was also very exciting to hear about the new additions that includes Asia, Australia, and Amazon coming. Can you tell us more about the timeline for that and when we can expect to see those different pieces?
If we can hold COVID at bay and keep things from going crazy in any other way that we haven't anticipated, the word is we'll start seeing results from Asia and things opening in Asia within the next probably 3 years. So I know that sounds like a long time, but when you're building doing major construction, it's not all that long. And the nice thing that we've done with this expansion is we're talking just a few acres. We're not with North America was the second continent was a 200-acre plus expansion.
Mhm.
Africa was the first continent built completely, and that was a 300-acre undertaking. And so what we're talking about in these next several expansions is probably a 3 to 5, maybe 10 acres at most. So we're really slowing our scale of growth, but still adding animals and doing things that can be bang for the buck and the most impact, and still give the animals the space they need.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the animals, what is the process? How do you go about obtaining animals for these new sections of the park?
We coordinate with our zoo partners across the world, across the US and across the world. And so we basically look at, we don't like to take animals out of the wild anymore. So what we try to do is coordinate with other zoos within the US, and we say, okay, we're thinking about building X exhibit. And we have our partners around the globe and around the United States that we can reach out to and say, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a certain number of animals. Preferably, we like them younger so that they will travel well and adjust. It's kind of like when you move giraffes, you have to move them within about the first year to 18 months of their life. Otherwise, you have to knock down all the overpasses between origin and destination points. Giraffes won't keep their neck down that long, and their neck is way too long to go under any of them. So
Fascinating. Well, thank you for that. Let me turn it over to Bob to see if there are any questions in the room there for you.
As we're gathering them here, I did have one, John, if I can ask you. You spoke a little bit to keeping animals in the wild. And, you know, as I think about sitting in your chair and planning an expansion, you know, sort of the participant experience is changing so rapidly, and there's a lot of politics in a lot of directions with respect to habitats and how you present animals. Can you speak to how you all incorporated those undercurrents of change as you do your planning for these huge expansions?
yeah, the biggest thing, like I say, is we try not to take any animals out of the wild anymore. That used to be probably the number one or number two method of acquisition of new animals, is capture from the wild. The last time we really did that was with a couple of our North American species. I think the black bears come to mind most recently, and we actually rescued a few of those because it was a 3 strikes and you're out, much like they're doing in the judicial system with people. They do within the animal management, wildlife management system, especially in the US. And so if you have a wild animal that encroaches on human space and interacts negatively with humans more than twice, then the third time it's either euthanasia or relocation, and those are the two choices. And you have to relocate somewhere like a zoo that is receptive to the idea and has available space. So that's our major plan with expansion.
Thank you. Jim Lovejoy has a question.
Can you say something about your financial support, where you get most of your funding?
Question, John, was about financial support and funding sources.
Okay. We do get a state appropriation because it's the state zoo, but that only provides a portion of it. Then there's a portion of the support budget that comes from gate receipts, from revenues from food and gift sales, And then, of course, the Zoo Society, which is where I am, and our job is the private fundraising and private development from a financial standpoint, raising those critical dollars through a variety of programs and sponsorships. So everything from personal memberships to corporate memberships to planned giving to major gifts that come through for naming opportunities for collections or for naming opportunities for exhibits. And so those are kind of the tracks that we have for funding. And we're fortunate that of the 50 million, we are not sure if it's been released publicly or not, so I don't know how many press people are monitoring this, but we are a good 20 to 25% or more along that $50 million track already. So that's encouraging, and hope it continues to go well. If things continue to hold with the economy and recover, I think we're going to see good results there.
That's it in the room, Rod.
Great, thank you very much. Well, John, thank you for this information. Let me turn it over to Reggie Scales to express our thanks on behalf of the club.
Thanks so much.
Reggie, we're having a hard time hearing you.
All right. Okay. Not good. All right. Rod, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Oh, actually, that's better. We can hear you now. That's better.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. All right. So let me say, John, learned a lot from you the last 20 minutes. I think the key word was charismatic vertebrates. Is that?
Yeah. Charismatic megavertebrates. So
Megavertebrates. Okay.
Anything with more than one backbone and a personality. That's the key. Those are the stars of the show.
All right. Excellent presentation. In terms of the zoo, I knew it was a North Carolina treasure, but it sounds like it's a national as well as international treasure, being top zoos in the U.S. So thank you to you and your team for all the work that you do. On behalf of the Cary Rotary Club, we're going to be sending you some gift cards from our very own, some note cards from our very own artist, Jerry Miller. So thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Glad to be with y'all. Enjoyed it. This is only the second virtual presentation I've done.
That was awesome. It's great to see the growth that's going on and really your efforts, the team's efforts to help build this zoo to become even more world-class than it already is. So appreciate all your efforts, and certainly count on us. You can count on my kids and grandkids to help fundraise for you. They just love that thing. So thank you very much. And thank you, Don Finkbeiner, for hosting today's program. Thank you. Next week, another big week. It's amazing to me. Every week. South Carolina will be hosting Dana Grimstead, Visit North Carolina. Will be talking to us about a very important topic for everybody here in North Carolina, and that's North Carolina tourism. So I think we'll learn a good bit next week. We look forward to that. In 2 weeks, Leon Addis will be hosting special guest speaker Brad Adcock and North Carolina Education Lottery. That will, I'm sure, be a very important meeting for us to listen to and learn from. We look forward to that, Leon. And now the all-important unknown. Next week's meal. What I have is salmon salad, mixed greens, onion with tomato dill dressing on the side, along with our A-game salad bar, whichever you prefer. I think I messed up this week, but I'm batting, what am I batting? 330, 320 something. And I'm going to work the next 2 weeks. I'm really going to work hard. Trust me. Would like to thank Jennifer Murray for being here today. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed yourself. We'd love to see you back here again. And Kristen, thank you for hosting. Absolutely awesome. And to Mr. Ken Thompson, always special to see Ken. Has been a major part of this club for many years, and now is a major supporter and member of the Capital Club, so Capital City Club. So Always a pleasure to have you, Ken. You're always welcome.
Salmon salad sounds pretty good.
Mhm,
All right,
come on
well,
back.
it's a 50-50. We'll see.
He's usually wrong.
And, with that, I'd like to ask Ross Berry if he could lead us out in the four-way test. Ross?
The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Awesome. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Have a fabulous rest of the week, everybody. See you next Tuesday.